826-CARS.
Floodwaters from rains 2 weeks ago still plague the South. In Louisiana today, hundreds of people were forced from their homes by the rising waters of the Red River. And in Texas, thousands who live along the Trinity River are being affected by floodwaters that are slowly moving south.
Number one question, of course, is when do we get ours?
Yeah. You can see what's happening. It almost seems like right up the middle of the country, people are getting too much rain. We've got another chance of rain tomorrow afternoon and more likely heavier rain tomorrow evening, but there's nothing happening out there right now. The good news is that it still feels nice and mild outside in Chicago, and if you wanted to take a walk in the next hour, you could, whether you were at O'Hare or in the western suburbs, 64 degrees along the lakefront, 64 degrees in Gary, not that far away from the high today at 6 o'clock in the evening. But the winds are pretty strong at times. Now they're blowing at 16 miles an hour. The barometer's rising. Sunrise tomorrow is at 5:31. The sun will set at 8:04. There is rain in the forecast, and there's some pretty close by, but not in Chicago. You can see the rain moving across Milwaukee and portions of eastern and southern Wisconsin near Janesville and all the way up to Oshkosh. But getting back to our story, most of the heaviest thunderstorm activity now is in Oklahoma and down to San Antonio. The real harsh weather is going to stay there, but there's a lot of cool air working its way in. So tomorrow and Wednesday, there's going to be a front slowly marching toward Chicago. Hit and miss, widely scattered showers and thunder showers for the next couple of days. Then that thing moves through, and Thursday and Friday should be kind of nice around here. Temperatures in the 60s and a little bit cooler. But getting back to tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., when you wake up, there should be mostly cloudy skies out there and maybe some fog, and temperatures about 55 degrees. The rest of the day, a reminder, scattered showers and thunderstorms, but take the rain gear just in case. Tomorrow night, the rain is very likely across northwestern Indiana, Wisconsin, and Chicago. The next 4 or 5 days, at least the end of the week, is looking good. I'll meet you here tomorrow. Here are Bill and Linda.
Okay. Cubs highlights. Another crash at Indy. Camel races. Stallone and Can. After a break. We've just learned a 6-month-old child has been shot on the south side. Police say that it happened around 10 o'clock near 41st and Cottage Grove. The mother was wheeling the child in a stroller when she heard a shot, looked down, and noticed her daughter had been struck in the head. Police say the child is in critical condition at Michael Reese.
Time to turn to sports now. Johnny Morris is here with not good news from the Cubs tonight.
I wish I had good news for you, Linda, but I do not, unfortunately. The Cubs managed to blow another game tonight, this time to the lowly Braves again, 3-2, as Atlanta scored twice in the 8th to win it. It was a 1-1 game in the 3rd when Andre Dawson clouded his 9th home run of the season, so the Cubs nursed a 2-1 lead with Les Lancaster pitching well. Lancaster got some fine defensive help all night. Now watch Lloyd McClendon rob Odeby McDowell with a man on third base. This catch kept the score 2-1 Cubs. But finally in the 8th, when the Braves broke through, Mitch Williams failed in relief for the 4th straight time. Jim Presley's double tied the game at 2-2, and I'll tell you, Williams is snake bit this year. A moment later, another single put Atlanta up 3-2 after 8 innings. The Cubs didn't die. They loaded the bases with no outs in the top of the 9th, but failed to score. Charlie Kerfeld got Sandberg to end the game 3-2 in favor of Atlanta. And take a look at Kerfeld. You'd think the Braves had just won their division. He was a mighty happy fella. He high-fived everybody in the ballpark. Okay, let's check the other scores around the major leagues. It was Cincinnati beating the Pirates. San Diego leads Philadelphia. San Francisco 2-0 over the Mets. In the American League, Sox were off. The Twins beat Oakland despite 2 Canseco home runs. It was Detroit losing to the Blue Jays. Boston leads Kansas City. That game is in the 9th. The Brickyard was busy today, as yesterday's 2 top qualifiers were running side by side in practice, Emerson Fittipaldi and Rick Mears. There was one crash this afternoon. Roberto Guerrero lost the wing to his car and hit the wall on the 3rd turn. Fortunately, Guerrero was not hurt seriously. The car will be fixed in time to try and qualify this weekend. Top lap time today was 225 miles an hour by Fittipaldi. The Blackhawks had their final team meeting today and now head for summer vacation. There will be plenty of time for golf now. The players cleaned out their lockers, and we'll watch Edmonton play Boston in the finals. And what about the Savard-Keenan affair? In his first interview since the game Saturday night, Savard had this to say.
We're a family, and you know, obviously whatever happens in the dressing room should stay in the dressing room. And you know, I know everybody fights with their wives, and this is a big family, and sometimes, you know, they agree on everything.
You want to be back, right?
No doubt about it.
Jim?
I'm a Blackhawk, and I'll be a Blackhawk all my life. I don't want to play nowhere else.
Do we all make too much out of this thing? This Keenan thing we do?
Yeah. But people love it, don't they?
Okay, let's hope Savard won't get traded. I must preface my next comment by saying the Hawks are certainly improved and are a much better team under Mike Keenan. He's obviously a good coach, but you win Stanley Cup titles with a hot goalie, not 3 hot goalies, and none of the Hawks had a legitimate chance of becoming a hot goalie in these playoffs. Meanwhile, Arlington International Racecourse is just that. Today, Dick Duchossois announced a $5.5 million international racing series. An example, if a horse can win the Arlington Million and then the famed Arc de Triomphe in Paris, a bonus of $1 million, and that's not bad. And speaking of racing, how about the camels?
And if you're
And they're off. Yes, camel racing from the land down under. This is the Alice Springs racetrack in Australia, and this camel race is the finals for the season. The top camels from around the country. Happy Hooker and Yankee Lad had the lead coming off the turn, but watch on the inside. It was Cleo charging up. He's ridden by Paul Lawler, and he gives him the whip and wins at the wire. Cleo wins the famed camel race, top prize, $100,000 camel chips. Yeah, I got you on that.
They'll race anything, won't they? And bet on anything. They'd fit for the Cannes Film Festival that's underway in France. One of the main attractions is Sylvester Stallone, mobbed by a crush of fans and reporters. But he did take time out to tell our Gene Siskel about his latest Rocky movie.
It's like the Cinderella syndrome, coming home with a vengeance. Rocky wasn't born great. He inherited a really great mantle. And like so many boxers before him, President Muhammad Ali, but Joe Louis and whatever, their fortunes dwindled, they were taken advantage of, they didn't pay their taxes, and they suffered irreparable brain damage. Rocky was slow to start off with, but he's terribly damaged when he comes home, and he becomes childlike. And he has a son, which is my actual son. In the movie, he becomes the father.
That's Rocky 5 he's talking about, due out later this year. 5 or 25? I can't keep track. More at 4:30. Good night.
We'll see you tomorrow.
What would it take to get you to listen to a new radio station?
Are we talking dollars here?
Well, say you had a chance to win maybe...
$1,000?
Try $10,000.
What station?
The new Mix 102 FM.
The new Mix 102?
Just jot down any 4 songs in a row you hear and send them to the new Mix 102.
Well, then I've got to listen to win, right?
Hey, wouldn't you for $10,000?
Well, for $10,000, I'd make my mother listen.
The new Mix 102 FM could make you $10,000 richer.
So what kind of music?
Hey, you gotta listen.
Yeah.